Welcome everybody to the Roundabout Cast, episode 31.
Ooh.
Yay, the magic
Yay,
number.
we always
Wait.
wait too long.
33. Why did I say
Yeah,
that?
33.
Not even off by one. Great start. I'm your podcast host, the ever knowledgeable, always ready Willer.
Numerically challenged Joe here.
I am Bradley, a guy who has been apparently possessed by a demon that makes him go around
No.
playing puzzles and having sex with anime girls.
I'm Tyler
I
trying
think.
to
You think?
I'm Tyler and I'm just trying to not live the simp life.
Oh man. Shout outs, happy what's it called? Oh, this is gonna come out way after Valentine's Day, so never mind. Happy Simp Day. Everyday Simp Day. Okay. We got some topics for y'all, including movies, the TV show Victorious for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
The Promised Neverland, and Joe's gonna give us some board games.
And I really want to hit 5 minutes on Hentai Asmodeus.
Yep.
We're going there this week.
We're doing
guess
it.
we're going
It's
there.
fresh on my mind.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Unfortunately, it's fresh in all of our minds. What can I say? All right, but first, let's start with some wholesome movies.
Oh, yeah.
Couple of things. Tyler really wanted to be here for Midsummer Talk, but it didn't work out. So, we're going to do that today. But also, I watched like 4 movies since our last recording. We took like a week or 2 off.
Damn.
So I stocked up some movies to talk to y'all about. Tyler, do you want to do Midsummer as the opener here or as the closer?
Yeah, I'll make it real quick.
Okay.
Any means. It has some nice cinematography in it. You know, the music's pretty nice. The acting's real. I think the acting's even good. I think I just hate the entire concept of.
To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
I understood everything that went on, and like I heard that the director really like makes a like puts in a lot of detail and everything. So I really enjoy horror movies. So I'm like sitting there looking at all the backgrounds and the hieroglyphics and the murals all throughout the movie.
There's some creepy shit in like the background. Did you catch that like scene where the mom puts scissors underneath the pillow and it's
yeah,
it's
like
good shit.
yeah, and I'm like, I see all these things, and it's not even that I like the movie was predictable to me, which is a nice touch, you know, like it's okay. I'd say the only thing that wasn't predictable was the flying eagle that happened to the guy. The Viking, so I think it's called the flying eagle. It's a Viking ritual where they flay the back skin and then they hang him up by hooks, but he's still alive.
You thought that was the predictable part?
No, the unpredictable part.
Okay.
I'd say that was probably the only unpredictable thing.
A problem I have with the movie, I gave it a reluctant 4 out of 5 last time we talked about, but it was reluctant. And it's because the movie's really boring in the 2/3 mark. It's when it's just the boyfriend and the girlfriend and they're just constantly on drugs doing rituals for like an hour.
They're on drugs the entire movie, dude.
Well, specifically that last portion.
Okay.
I was like, okay, let's move on. But that also had some of the scariest moments in the movie, like that sex scene is kind of horrific and burned into my mind forever.
It is freaky.
And then after that, when all the girls are crying in unison, that was like really unsettling to me.
I can understand. I would say I would describe the entire movie as unsettling.
Yeah.
I wouldn't classify it as a horror genre, slight thriller, psychological, unsettling movie.
That's fair.
There's nothing really scary about this movie at all. The most of the suspension buildup is done through the musical score. And if you've watched The Shining, it creates that same type of like brooding effect the entire movie, and like the cinematography and score are in line with each other, but the entire concept of the movie is detached from the brooding overtones that the cinematography and music is trying to convey.
Another knock against this movie is how fucking stupid the characters are. It's like you're in a horror movie scenario and it is so clear and everyone in the world would be able to tell, but you guys are just gonna stick around.
No. I as someone who like the first time I ever went abroad, I think the movie's very believable in that instance.
Not after that first ritual and you realize their take on life and death. That's when you're like, oh.
Yes. And I really liked the contrast between our main group and the sane group that tries to leave and gets murdered.
Yeah.
That's like,
fair point.
okay, yeah, like,
Yeah,
and
fair.
even when the thing happens where the guy's like, oh, he went without you, he'll catch up, and she's like, no, he would never do that, you're lying. Like, what? And they're watching this happen, and then we still have our dumb, drugged out characters.
What I do love about the movie is the theme of like, or the character arc of the main character and how she's just kind of looking for people who will generally empathize with her, and she kind of finds it in the worst of places.
I saw that happening, and like as someone who's like, oh, I felt those vibes, like a vibe with her throughout the movie.
She was vibey.
And I was like, you know what? I've seen some shit happen to a lot of people, and that's very believable. If someone goes through that type of like, they just end up breaking.
Her trauma
mentally.
is very understandable.
Yeah, and the movie is good in that sense. Like I said, it's a good movie. I personally just don't like it.
Yeah, that's fair. I totally understand, and even I'm not sure I like it that much. It's a very weird movie that you have to think a lot about afterwards. But I think that's good on Midsommar.
Thank you for letting me come back to hate it.
Yeah,
Yay.
I love it. Let's talk.
Hey.
Oh, you're saying hate. I thought you were saying hey. All right, let's talk about some movies I watched. First, I watched Booksmart. Have any of y'all seen Booksmart?
No, but I heard about it.
Let's. This is not Get Smart.
It's not Get Smart.
This is about a bunch of girls starting a book club or something.
No.
The 2019 teen comedy Booksmart.
Yeah, it's super bad for women.
It is female super bad, and this works doubly because as I was watching the movie, I was like, man, the lead really looks like Jonah Hill, and it turns out she's his sister. So I fucking called it. Anyways, she's great, and so is the best friend. The premise of the movie is that there's these two really smart girls. They're about to graduate high school. They're top of the class. They're valedictorian, and what's the second one called? Runner-up.
Yeah.
Salutatorian.
Salutatorian. Runner-up.
Valedictorian and runner-up. And they're best friends. Their friendship's really cute. They're very down to earth. But then they find out that all of the classmates that they've looked down upon are going to equally good colleges, but they also lived like a normal college, like a normal high school life, and they partied and shit. And they're like, wait, did we just waste all of our high school years working this hard when everyone else managed to do it too? So they vow to go to a big party at the end of the year so they can say that they didn't waste all their time in high school. And hijinks begin. This movie has a really good way of making its characters realistic. It's realistic, but there's also like my big negative with the movie. I really love it. I'd probably give it like a 4 to 5. But my big negative is that the characters are too like movie teenager, where it's like there's not any teenagers or high schools where people would actually do this or talk like this. Like they're just too over the top, except for the main characters.
In the morning.
So this is super bad.
It's
and that makes me want to watch it.
It's very good. It's super bad. Super bad's great. I'd say this is better than super bad for me.
Oh fuck.
The two main characters though, they're really believable, and they kind of even each other, like the other characters out. But even though the other characters are over the top, this movie has a really good way of not making anyone the villain. Because at the end, all high schoolers are kind of the villain and kind of the protagonist. Everyone's shitty, everyone's growing, and this movie really shows that quite well. And also, it's just a really well-made movie. It's directed by Olivia Wilde, of all people, but like the editing and the directing is really fun, which makes the pacing really good. There's never a dull moment. You're just going from scene to scene to scene. And once they really get to the party, there's some hijinks until they get there. The movie's like fucking awesome. From that point on, the movie's great.
I have a question. So like, this seems like whenever you would think of like female Superbad, I think of Broad City. But that's on the spectrum of dislikable characters. Are the characters in this movie likable?
They're over the top, but they're all likable. Like,
Okay.
there's not a character I really like the two main girls. They're like, they look down on everyone, but they come to terms with the fact that they're all human like them, and they're all going through their own issues.
That sounds wholesome.
It's a good time, and both of the characters have a motivation, and there's a good twist with both of those motivations as to why they're going to the party. And then there's this argument scene that's really good. It's probably the best scene of the movie, where there's no audio, it's just music. You don't get to hear what they're saying, but by the acting you can tell that it's heartbreaking for both of them. A really good scene.
Nice.
And what else is there to say? Yeah, I think that's really all of it. It's really funny, and I recommend it to all of you guys. Good movie.
Yay!
How many Willers do you give it?
I give it 4 Willers
Oh,
out of a
fuck.
maximum
Out of
5
100.
Willers that can exist.
Oh, okay.
Next up,
Willer and the Willers.
I watched The Irishman, Oscar contender Irishman. This is
The Luck of the Irish on Disney Channel.
this
3
is
hours long. Irish. 3.5 hours long. Irish.
3.5 hours long.
Damn.
When people say a movie's 3 hours, it never actually is. It's always 2:40, but they're saying it's 3 hours. This movie's beyond 3 hours.
This
However-
is 3 hours and fuck you.
This is 3 hours and fuck you minutes. However, what it does really well is something about the pacing makes it feel like a 240 movie. So it's still long. Like, you're still gonna be like, man, I've been here for a while. But like, it doesn't feel as long as it actually is. And it's directed by, wow, why is his name escaping me? He's a legendary director.
Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese. And it's got De Niro, it's got Pacino, it's got fucking the guy from Home Alone who's really good.
Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci. They're all great. The acting in this movie is phenomenal. It's based on a real story of just like what the mob was like, I think in the, was it 70s?
50s.
50s. Okay, I was off. No, it starts in the 50s. I think it progresses through time through there.
Yeah.
And a big part of this movie is, I think, if you understand the time period, which I didn't, and if you know who Jimmy Hoffa is, which I didn't, I know about him now. But I didn't really love the movie despite it being really well made, despite it being really well acted, because I didn't like any of the characters. The world would be a better place if none of these people existed. The main character is a sociopath who is a family man. He works for the mob. He has a really good backstory of like being in the army, and in the army he was ordered to kill people, and he just kind of lived with that, and it didn't really affect him in a negative way. He just went on with his life, and he's just someone who needs to be ordered to do something. So he's ordered to go deeper and deeper into this mob world, and he doesn't really care. He just does it. But at the same time, he has good relationships with the other characters. So like, he's a personable dude, but he's soulless at the same time, which leads to a really good finale for this movie. But didn't really love it. Couldn't latch on anyone.
You know what's interesting is this movie was, you said, up for award.
Yeah, it was Oscar nomination, like the best film even.
This movie only did $8 million at the box office.
That is because it is a Netflix movie, a Netflix movie that got theatrical release.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Right.
Because
That's really cool.
the Oscars require you to have a theatrical release to be like,
that's not true. Marriage Story, right?
No, they also released Marriage Story.
Oh fuck, for real?
Interesting.
That's
Yeah,
some bullshit.
Yeah, they the Oscar committee is trying to like I forget the word, but they're trying to like make streaming like they don't want
Devalue
streaming.
it.
Yeah, devalue streaming as a art form platform.
Now, that being said, also Scorsese is a 70-year-old man with bushy eyebrows who wants his films to be watched in the way that they're meant to be watched. So I think part of it is he really fought for it. I watched the Directors Roundtable where he was part of it and he was talking about it. Yeah, it's out of all the Oscar nominees I've watched this year, I'd only put it maybe above Joker. They're down there. Next up, movie 3 out of 4 is Us. Have y'all watched Us?
I have seen Us. I'm
Oh,
ready to talk
cool.
about it.
That's the one that was like fucking you up while you were watching it.
Yeah,
You were like going nuts.
Midsummer fucked me up more. But
Really?
Then
I like the
again,
premise for Us, and it sounded really intense.
then again, Us was really fucking with me at some points. But then it fucked with me less at the end when like the veil is unveiled. But let's talk about Us. Tyler, did you like this movie?
I love this movie.
This was a good movie. I really like this movie.
And I really love the definition of it because it is a mystery thriller. And I would say it is a thriller slasher of slashers. This is not a horror movie. It is a slasher, and it's great.
I think. Have you seen Get Out?
Yeah.
It's Jordan Peele's other movie. Which one do you like better?
Personally, I think I'm gonna have to go with Us. It's just a little bit more exciting. It's my personal taste. I think Get Out is definitely better made because there's a lot of contradictory like racial stuff that go in with that. Like Jordan Peele's like, oh, it's a comedy. Oh no, it's a horror movie. You know, like
I like Get Out more, but Us is even more interesting. And Get Out already has an interesting twist. Us is like, where was your mind when you made this? Like it is fucking out there.
I think it's a lot of fun. I think the entire setup for this movie is just like so bizarrely pulled out of left field. Like when they did Key and Peele skit for like the aerobic Olympics, and like they're dancing, and like there's that twist in this skit that makes it really dark, and I'm like, that is this movie. That's that skit turned into a 2-hour movie.
This movie opens up with a quote, not a quote, but a statistic of like, there are miles and miles of tunnels underneath America. Most of them are not used to this day, and it just kind of leaves you with that. It's like, what
You're
is
just
that?
like,
what is that?
What am I getting into?
It's super relevant.
Yeah. The cast in this movie
is great. Dude, the cast is fantastic. I love the family. I love how they weren't just like, this is a black family. No, they were just a family. They were super realistic. They weren't like a political statement. They were just like a really endearing family with a lot of issues with the mom. The mom has some personal issues because she had some very deep childhood trauma.
Yeah, that's Lupita. And I can't pronounce her last name.
Lupita. I'm sorry. I think it's
Yanglo.
Yeah.
Yanglo?
Good try. Good effort. She's a very good actress, and she's great in this movie.
Yes.
Because it's not I wouldn't say this is a spoiler. The movie has shown this in trailers. The antagonists and monsters of this movie is the family. So you have the family, and then you have these doubles that show up one night and start harassing them. And these doubles are like these twisted versions of the family members, and they all have kind of like their own thing. And you're just left with like, what does this mean?
Oh man, I love this movie. Y'all should go watch it.
Yeah, for sure. That scene, Tyler, where they're just standing outside.
Yeah, that's when the driveway scene.
That's when I was freaking out on Discord, because that's kind of like a personal thing. It's like people just out in the distance outside of your house staring into that gets me fucked up.
That is creepy.
It's the same effect of when like you're sitting in your home and you see lights through your window, and it's like 9 p.m. and you see somebody sitting in your driveway.
Oh my God.
And then they back out and leave, and you're like, what are you doing?
You're about to get murdered.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You don't belong here.
So the creepy part of that is they're just standing there, and the dad, who is great, is just trying to harass them and like back them away, and Lupita just goes, and then the kids just fucking scatter after she claps. Yeah. Horrifying.
They're just standing there menacingly,
and that's really how they're introduced. And so what I didn't know about this movie was the second half of it.
I don't want this to be I want this to be spoiler-free.
I just want to talk. The white dad and the
white family.
That the move that he does where he's like, whoosh, that was the funniest thing in the movie, but also incredibly menacing. That part with that scene with the white family is insanely good, and then the reveal of what these others actually are. And then, did you guess the final twist?
I actually didn't. I didn't see that. Like, I thought about it. Like, I was like, oh, that would be really cool, but I couldn't see how it like
Connected.
happened.
Yeah. It wasn't enough for you to invest in. So apparently, people watched the trailer, and there's that scene with the strangling in the trailer, and people were able to guess from that. I didn't watch the trailer, so I had no idea.
There's a certain mentality of people who can often call things, and I think there are people who are very detached from that genre. Like, if you go watch an anime with your significant other, and like, go say you like watch Attack on Titan with your significant other, and then they go, "Oh, is this the plot twist?" And you're like, "Yo, shut up! I am invested in this." It's just some people turn their brains off because they want to enjoy the medium.
Some people want to outsmart the medium, and it's like, I'm guessing this is a twist, but like you're saying, I don't think they could guess how we get there or why.
I don't think it was I think it's an easy guess, but I don't think it's an easy predictability.
Yeah. The thing is, though, as cool as the mystery is, it doesn't quite make sense when you think about it. There's some gaps.
Don't care. I loved it. This is no M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Look, there's 4 of us here. Me and you, we're cool with it. There's a certain person in this podcast who would be driven insane by such things.
Is it that one?
I really don't know which one it would be.
Anyways, I really liked Us. 4 out of 5.
I enjoyed a lot. 4.5 out of 5.
I think you guys should watch it.
If y'all haven't discovered yet, when Willer and I agree on opinions,
it's good.
That's like Marvel and DC teaming up to say like, "Hey, here, let's make a movie."
Oh, damn.
It's like Captain America and Batman double teaming Goku. It's great.
It's like when Sony lets Marvel make Spider-Man movies.
Guys.
That's a good one. All right, finally, I have The Lighthouse.
I want to see this movie. Don't spoil anything for me, please.
You're in the cast.
Do y'all know anything? Have y'all? I'm guessing no one's watched
nothing.
it.
It's a black and white movie starring Willem Dafoe, and is it Robert Pattinson or is it someone else?
Robert Pattinson. He's
The only thing I know about it is that these 2 guys are in a lighthouse and they man the lighthouse, and they just slowly go insane.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
That's the most I got out.
Anyways, 5 out of 5. Okay, let me talk a little bit about it.
Is this another like Amazon Prime, Netflix, anything?
No, it actually came out.
It came out.
It came out in theaters.
I watched it on Prime.
Is it on Prime?
But I think I bought it.
Or
rented it rather.
What a small budget movie, and they made up for it at the box office. Like, box office did 15 million. Budget was 4 million for this movie.
Good deal.
Oh,
it's very
the
niche.
guy that made this movie also made The Witch, which is like the only horror movie I actually want to see ever.
I want to watch The Witch. Let's watch The Witch.
We'll watch The Witch one day.
Another thing. So this movie is completely in black and white, and the aspect ratio is 4:3. Or I might be wrong with that, but it's got
it's a square. Yeah.
And you might think this is gimmicky, but actually, like, the movie couldn't be as striking as it is if it wasn't for that decision. Because 1, the square aspect ratio makes it feel more claustrophobic, which is really important. And 2, the use of light and shadows really pops out because it's black and white. So good decision on both accounts. And this movie stars Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, and they're just working the lighthouse. Willem Dafoe's been there for years. He's a seasoned sailor. He's a seasoned lighthouse man. And Robert shows up, and he's kind of a vagrant. He's moved from job to job to job, and he's like, working the lighthouse for a couple weeks is a good pay, so I'm going to try it. And Willem Dafoe does not let Robert get up to the light. He's the only one who can actually man the light. And Robert's like, I just want to see it, bro. He doesn't even let him up there. Weird. Okay. And then Robert is harassed by the seagull with one eye. And that's it. That's the initial conflicts of this movie. And these people reveal some truths about themselves, reveal some lies about themselves. They grow to they grow to understand one another and despise one another and care for one another as they're lonely in this lighthouse, and they're just drinking alcohol and eating food. And there's this scene where Robert Pattinson's character tells Willem Dafoe's character that he doesn't like his lobster, and it drives him insane. He's like, you like me lobster? He's just offended that he won't say that he likes his food. So Willem Dafoe goes on a 2-minute sea curse where he's like, hark, hark, and then he just says all this nautical shit, and then it's fantastic. It's a really good movie. I can't say any more about it without spoiling it. There's some good mysteries in it. It's also very metaphorical near the end, and I think you would all enjoy this movie. It's
Is
also
the
not that long.
Evangelion metaphorical?
The final shot gives me some Ava vibes.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 out of 5. I thought... Never mind. There's... Bradley, if you need a way to get into this movie, there's mermaid vagina.
You know me, dog.
And that you get you there. Okay, that's all my movies.
So,
Where's the wait, never mind.
What?
Watch to find out more.
so I have a question.
Tyler.
I saw Sonic.
Oh yeah, talk about Sonic.
Should I talk about it
Wait,
now or
I'm gonna go
later?
see a Sonic on Wednesday.
Well, do a spoiler for you real quick. Did you like
Yeah.
it?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I had fun with this movie. I think it was a good movie. I went and saw it with my 2 little cousins. They're 7 and 12.
Okay.
Both of them enjoyed it.
Oh, that's good. I always worry that kids become too cool, but I think kids are getting nerdier. They're going the opposite direction of what I thought.
My 12-year-old cousin, I asked him, what kind of music do you like? He goes, 80s. And anytime I give him my Switch, he just plays the NES and SNES classic games on it.
All right, cultured kid.
Yeah, he was playing Pokemon Sword and Shield after that on his.
The world's gonna be all right.
Yeah, but he's also the kind of kid who's like, yeah, Ocarina of Time, masterpiece, best game ever.
I went and saw it with him, and he wasn't really excited to see it beforehand. Like, the 7-year-old really wanted to see it, and then I asked him, I was like, yo, man, you want to go see it? And he's like, yeah, I'll go. Sure. And so I got us all tickets, and
Cute.
like throughout the movie, he's just sitting there laughing, like he's just straight up laughing out loud at certain things, and I was laughing out loud at like certain moments with all of them. Like the movie's.
I hear it's a lot of millennial humor. Like I hear Sonic flosses multiple times.
No. It only happens twice. It's a
only
meme.
twice.
It's a meme, and the fact that other Sonic almost existed, and that would have Fortnite danced.
All right,
haunts
Tyler,
my
Tyler,
dreams.
Tyler. I know.
It haunts my dreams.
I know the twist reveal at the very end of the movie. There's a certain character. If that character was in the old art style, I think that would be horrific. You don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe
Is this
it was
like
a
a
post-credit scene.
There's an after-credit scene,
Sonic
Tyler.
Okay.
We're gonna get a Sonic.
I didn't stay around for post credits.
Oh, you might have missed some good shit from what I hear.
I'm looking it up now. But we get something in the very beginning of the movie that isn't shown in any trailers, and I love it.
Sonic's an alcoholic in this? Did I hear that right?
No.
That wouldn't vibe well with me.
You know what's cool is, okay, the movie's like a little bit prequel sequel.
Huh.
Like, there's some things that like Sonic's known for that like we see him adopt throughout the movie, and it's really cool. I thought it was neat.
Did we find out why he likes rings so much?
Yes,
Oh, sweet.
that is revealed in this movie, and it's weird.
Revealed.
And I don't know if it's canon or not, but you know, it's a thing that exists.
Cool.
He's got his rings.
At the end of the movie when Nick Fury shows up.
Oh, who told you?
There's a character in the beginning of the movie that I love. Oh man, it's great. It's great. There's things I want to say about it.
Cool. Save them for next podcast.
Hey, Joe, take your headphones off real quick.
Okay. All right.
I want to
watch
say.
the movie eventually too. So
Wait, Bradley, do you want to go watch this movie?
maybe.
There's some really fun things, like we learn why Sonic likes chili dogs and why Robotnik has 2 names.
Oh, that's good.
It's really cool. And I'm like, you know what? This is fun, you know? There's also some dank memes in it. Like some actual dank memes that I thought were
Yeah.
pretty funny. All right,
Okay.
Joe, we're good. I just wanted to say the one thing about the robot name, but it's fun. And my favorite character,
Not your head, yes. or
there's
no.
some lore. There's some lore.
On whatever. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Did you like this or Detective Pikachu more?
Oh, Detective Pikachu way more.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say Sonic the Bat, like, obviously it's supposed to just be a fun movie. There you can either go in, be like all critical and just be like, this is a video game movie, or just go in and have fun, dude. Like, it's a movie. Like, they did a lot of work to make this character a lot more good
They're
looking.
making Sonic lore look dumb.
Yeah, well. This makes me more excited for the Mario movie, I guess. That could be fun. All right.
There's a Mario movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
unfortunately.
If you got nothing better to do, go see it.
Cool. Bradley, you have been watching the TV show Victorious for some reason. Why don't you explain yourself?
Victorious. More like Feetorious.
Yeah, so I went and visited our friends in Dallas, and we woke up in the morning all a little bit hungover, and we passed by Victorious on Netflix, and I was like, hey, you know, I've heard some rumors about Dan Schneider. For those of you who don't know, Dan Schneider is responsible for pretty much all of the live action shows in Nickelodeon's history. Aside from maybe all that, he did the Amanda Show, he did Drake and Josh, he did iCarly, he did Victorious. So I've heard some things about Dan Schneider about how there's been some sexual allegations against this man, about how
For straight up allegations, like
yes, and how he might have a thing for feet, and
that's not an
I would
allegation.
I would like to cross out the word might and replace it with like absolutely fucking definitely has a thing for feet.
I like how we've made jokes about this the past 2 podcasts, by the way, and just now is the explanation.
Yeah, now's the time, because I'm like 3 episodes from the end of Victorious. So like before we jumped into it, we're like, yeah, you know, I think there might be some truth to the feet thing, because like I remember there was like an episode of iCarly where they made little people out of their toes and wiggled their feet in front of the camera. So I was like, okay, I got to get into this. And after watching 3 seasons of Victorious, I'm not even kidding, every single episode has some scene or plot point that revolves around feet.
Goodness, like how creative can you get?
That's the thing. I told Willer about one of these, and he's like, if this is your show, you could make any situation, and they chose this. Like, so there's one episode where the whole plot is that this girl's feet are really, really smooth, and everyone is feeling her feet like, oh, your feet are so smooth. How do you get them so smooth? That's the plot of the episode.
Okay, give me
And then
more.
there's another episode where basically the plot is the main character and one of her friends go eat at the sushi restaurant. They don't have enough money to pay, so the restaurant owner is like, well, I mean, if you don't have money, you're going to have to pay some other way. And so one of them's like, all right, take off your shoes. We'll rub your feet for you. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? And I took pictures of all these too. I have documented. Every episode when something feet related comes up, I take a picture of it. My phone is filled with Victoria's feet pictures.
How many pictures we talking here?
Like, oh, dude, like at least a dozen. No, 2 dozen. Like, and then there's one today that I sent them where the one of the main characters, Andre, is helping this girl write a song, and she's like, they're like at school late together, and she's like, hey, you know, do you mind if I ask you something personal? And he's like, go for it. And she's like, well, I don't have a lot of friends, and people say it's because my feet smell, so could you smell my feet? And he grabs her foot, puts it up to his face, and he goes, so yeah, and there's even other fetishy feeling stuff in this show. Like, there's this one episode where one of the girls is in this really skimpy costume, dressed up like a piece of cheese, and there's these 2 guys dressed up like mice with forks, and she's tied up with a rope suspended from the ceiling and they're poking her with forks.
Now,
If that's not a sex thing, I don't know what is.
now I know cheese fetish is very popular, but is this the same guy who did that like Bulldogs cucking show? No, that's a different guy.
This
All
is
right.
the same guy who did the iCarly show, which is also like conspiracy to be a fetish-centric show as well.
Oh
I
yes.
never realized I liked iCarly. It's like the only
There's-
one of these shows I watched.
There's a reason why you liked it, Willer,
Oh
and
no,
it's subconscious to teenagers.
it was a Jenna McCartney because I think it was Jenna McCartney.
If we look, Dan Schneider makes shows with hot people. We all know it. So
Bradley, you can't say that at the age that you currently are.
all the girls in Victorious were like in their 20s,
Oh,
Like,
okay.
starting season 2.
That means they were over 18 in season 1.
Officer, time skip.
So if I want to talk, I feel like I need to at least talk about the show in a non-sexual sense.
Yes, please
A
do.
minute or two. The 3 seasons are very distinct. Season 1 is very like standard. This is like, relatable teenage humor. It's very similar to Drake and Josh and iCarly. Season 2 is when they start actually singing in this show. The soundtrack for the show, I will say, is unironically really good. There's some
Well,
fucking
yeah.
bangers.
This is where Ariana Grande got her start.
Yeah, like this is back then. If someone talked about Ariana Grande and they're like, who? You would be, oh, it's the redhead girl from Victorious, and they'd be like, oh, okay.
Is she the main character?
She's
like
one
the
of the main
second-
characters.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was about to have a moment. I was like,
And everyone would always, back in high school, everyone would always be like, "Oh, dude, that redheaded girl in Victorious is like the best singer on that show." Like, and look where she is now.
Yeah.
So, so season 2 is where they start doing songs, and basically the plot of every episode of season 2 is coming up with like any situation they can to get them to sing a song. Like they go to a third world country and they insult the dictator and they get thrown in prison. And he's like, if you sing a song I like, you'll get out of prison. And then they're like, oh, we got this.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
So season 2 is very weird. I almost feel like it cannot be canon because the situations are too weird.
Oh, the dream season.
Now season 3. So season 3 is interesting for 2 reasons. One, it's where the humor goes from like just kind of corny and teenagery to genuinely fucking hilarious. I actually have been laughing my ass off in this season. And number 2, season 3 is like a fever dream. This is like experimental film territory. There are episodes I do not know what the fuck is happening. Oh my god.
That sounds great.
I feel like season 3 they were on everything when they were writing these scripts. So
Everything.
I don't know. Victorious, I'm having a lot of fun watching it, mostly just because I'm incredulous whenever they blatantly do the feet shit. Like, they have no shame.
I have nothing against feet. Like feet fetishes are among the. There's way worse out there,
Oh yeah.
But when you're putting that in every episode of a kids show, like what are you trying to do here?
He's trying to condition our youth. He's trying to brainwash them into loving Victoria Justice's feet.
Okay.
Also, there's like an episode where Victoria Justice is in her living room and her mom comes in and immediately is like, take off your shirt. And she does it. And then she pulls out this cream and starts rubbing it on Victoria Justice's armpits.
Oh, hey, you know what? Never mind. I'm not
That goes into our later topic.
So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about Victorious. I'm not gonna say go watch it. I just thought the people should know what your kids were watching in 2013 through about 2018.
This show's about it's about a musician. Is that?
Oh yeah. So I guess I never said what the show's about.
I'm just wondering.
It's a high school for very talented kids, mostly in the fields of acting and music.
Is there an inventor?
Not really.
Okay, because it seems like when I watch my little brother watch these older shows, there's always an inventor character, and they're just making absurd adventures. Anyways, Liv and Maddie sucks.
Oh god. Oh yeah. God damn it.
That's
Liv and
Victorious.
So, if you want to really know about Dan Schneider, go listen to Pink Guy. He's got a song about it.
Oh yeah, Nickelodeon Girls.
Nickelodeon Girls, yes. That's a funny song. All right. Joe, why don't you talk to us about board games, which are all very excited to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of the 4 people here, I'm the only person that extensively enjoys and plays board games. I have my own board game group that I play a lot of games with. So I have held like one game in particular for about a few years now. It's my favorite board game, which was Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be able to pitch in a little bit here because I've played it a few times.
Yeah. But right now I played a game. I played 2 games of this game a few weekends ago, and I finished the first game. Like, I want to play that again. I finished the second game. Like, I want to play that again. This game's really, really fun. That game is Spirit Island, and I heard for a long time this game was really good. I just never bought it because I think the box art is ugly as fuck.
It's
ugly.
Yeah. So I was just like, that looks cool, but I just don't really want it on my shelf. Or I'm glad that people think that's a good game, but I just don't want it on my shelf. So I'm going to. Oh, I don't want to save an image. I'm going to start off with describing Star Wars Rebellion. So Star Wars Rebellion is a Star Wars game. Obviously, it's an asymmetrical board game in which there are 2 teams that are trying to achieve 2 different goals. There's the Empire team and the Rebellion team. Bradley has played this before, but not with me. The Empire team, actually, the Rebellion team is trying to successfully do a bunch of secret objectives across the board. They range from things like liberating a planet, blowing up a Star Destroyer, blowing up the Death Star, stuff like that. And they have to accumulate enough points that incites a rebellion across the entire galaxy. Essentially,
is this a hidden role game?
No, I'll get to that in a second. So that's their objective. They have these series of they have this deck of objectives that they have to go through and try to complete. The Empire is trying to find a hidden rebel base and blow it up. So what's great about this game is this huge map of the galaxy, and it looks like a Risk game from the outset, but really this game is a big espionage game where one team is trying to find the location of the hidden base and send their forces there to take it over, while the other team is trying to strategically thin out the Empire to do strikes and to get these points so they can win the citizens of the galaxy over to their side.
I think the big mistake that someone new to this game might make is that if they're playing the Rebellion side, and this is what I did, I think your instinct is like, oh, they have ships, I have ships, I'm supposed to win battles against them. And obviously, if you're in a battle, you want to win it. But as the Rebellion, you shouldn't be trying to pick fights.
Yeah,
you will lose because the Empire starts off way more powerful.
So to give you an idea, the Rebellion starts off with 3 basic troops, 2 land speeder things that wrap the cords around the AT-ATs in Empire Strikes Back, 1 large ship, a transport ship, and 2 X-wings and 2 Y-wings. The Empire starts with about 12 stormtroopers, 3 to 4 transport ships, 3 to 4 Star Destroyers, and the fucking Death Star.
Oh.
So, and the Death Star can and will blow up planets. That is a mechanic that will happen. You can just straight up walk up to a planet. It's I'm gonna blow it up now, and the planet's deleted and everything on it. So what I love about this game is that you have the way that you make moves in this game is you have heroes, and you use these heroes to place them on the board and then carry out secret missions. And through those secret missions, you do things like incite a rebellion on a planet, and you get 3 free troops, or you capture a rebel leader, or just a whole bunch of other very thematic Star Wars things that you would do, and it's just you're going back and forth with your opponent, and you have to outwit your opponent and play this bluffing game. It's I'm going to make it look like I'm going to do this. I'm actually doing this. I'm going to use this opportunity to take this planet, or to move this planet, or to locate this, or to stop them from doing this. The Empire has to be all right, where the fuck is this base? They have to go planet to planet and use other espionage clues to find this planet. That's kind of the hidden role mechanic of we put at the beginning of the game, the rebel player picks the card that has the base on it, and then that's the base for the whole game until they decide to move it. And moving the base is a pain in the ass. so they don't ever want to move it. And it's the only big thing about this game is, one, it takes forever to set up if you don't have it like pre-set up in the box, and two, it takes a very long time to play. It's about 2.5 to 3 hours. I've never played a game under 2 hours. So I really like the game a lot. I played Spirit Island the other day, and I fell in love with this game immediately. Its premise and its mechanics. So the premise of the game is that there is an island, and there are people coming on to colonize the island. You are not the colonizers. You are the spirit gods that live on the island, and you have to drive the colonizers off of the island.
Ooh, that sounds like a pretty cool premise.
So yeah, so it's you and up to 3 other players, and you have to basically work together to like kill off these invaders or to wash or like destroy their cities and towns. And there's like a whole bunch of different like spirits you can be. Like there's the shadow fire spirit that's really good at like causing fear and like picking off individual like dudes. There's the beast spirit that uses the packs of beasts to like roam around the island to like kill people and take over cities. There's the ocean spirit that just literally like has a high tide and low tide mechanic, which is super fun to play with.
Ooh.
Like there's just each of these spirits, there's like 12 spirits in the box. They each play incredibly different, and it's extremely hard to win by yourself, and you have to work together as a team to wipe out these invaders. It's 100%.
How long?
How long? We played one game that was like the regular game that took about an hour to an hour and a half. Then we played a game with a few more difficulty modifiers, and it took about 2 to 3 hours, I think, to play.
And each person controls a spirit. Y'all switch off on controlling the spirits.
Each person controls a spirit. So like, and your spirit has its own stat card. It has its own like special abilities it can do, and like you gain more abilities throughout the game. And you can like you can be like combo off of other people. It's a really fun game. Like I was just like this like premise is awesome. Everything works about it's really cool. It's not that hard to set up. It's not that long to play. It's pretty like it has a few complicated mechanics, but they're pretty easy to explain once you like go through one round of something. And I was just like, this is great. And you can play it like 100 different ways. There's different ways to scale it, so you can make it really hard or really easy. Like I was just like, this game's great. I'm ashamed I didn't buy it because I want to buy it.
My next question is, when are we gonna play it, Joe?
I'm thinking of actually purchasing my own copy so I can take it with me wherever I go, because I really like this game a lot. The one thing I like about both of them is that in both games you have to really think out what your move is going to be a few steps ahead in the board game, and that happens in a lot of board games, but this one really is like, if we're not careful, you can really screw yourself. But I just love it because you can really, there's that sense of like feeling connected to this player or this character that you're playing. Like I talked about in our Runeterra talk, where one of the reasons I don't like Runeterra is because I don't feel connected to any of the cards I'm playing with. But in the Spirit Island, like, oh, I'm the ocean man. I can only touch the ocean and the coastal seas, but hey, those are mine, and I'm going to defend them as much as I can. But so if I have to choose, here's the other thing. Spirit Island is about, I think, like $60 with its expansion. Rebellion is $100 base. So I think of the two, I would go Spirit Island to get.
You should,
yeah.
And you should bring it, and we should play it.
Yeah, it's tons of fun. That's it. I just want to say Spirit Island is really fun and great. I'm gonna play it 2 more times and see if it can take my top spot. But yeah,
good board game talk.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Bradley, why don't you tell us about a game you've been playing lately?
Yeah, let me tell you a tale of last night around, I don't know, 11:30 midnight. Me and the boys were on Discord, and our friend Austin was like, hey, we should find a game to play. Should we do Terraria? And I was just looking through my library. I was like, well, a couple months ago, I bought this game on Steam. It's $2. It's called Hentai Asmodeus. And I got it because I was like, oh, it's on sale, puzzle game, hot girls. So we pulled it open, and it's basically a clone of Zuma, which is an old PopCap game where you shoot balls.
Oh,
Other
it's that
PopCap
kind of.
games would be Plants vs Zombies, Peggle, Bejeweled. So I mean, it's a well-established game. So this is a shameless copy of Zuma, where you battle hot girls. And at first, I didn't know what my motivation was. We would be in the main menu and we would be clicking everywhere. There would be buttons. There would be like a gallery button. There'd be a little button that looks like a heart, and if you clicked on them, it said you need to download the free DLC to access this feature. And that was for most stuff in the game. And so Austin's theory was, hey, I think on Steam you can't sell a game that already has like the hardcore sex in it. So that's why I think they made a free DLC. So I was like, I like your theory. So I went to the page for the free DLC, and the preview image was a girl spreading her vagina. And I was like, oh yeah, this is our ticket.
Oh, I can't believe we're putting this on the esteemed Roundabout cast.
So I downloaded the free DLC and I went in there, and the first thing we did is I clicked on the new 18 plus demo, and you have there's a girl on the screen. I'm not gonna say what she's doing, but you have options. One of which you have limited resources of candles and tongues and hands. So basically, the goal is to defeat these girls, and if you beat each one 3 to 4 times, you can have sex with them in very fun sex scenes. And the interesting thing is, the first like 2 or 3 girls were fairly easy, but as the game went on, I had to like actually figure out how to counter these girls and their moves.
Allow me to jump in at this point.
Yeah.
There's a thing Bradley hasn't mentioned is that he was streaming this to our Discord.
Oh yeah.
And Tyler sends us a message that is just a thumbnail of what Bradley was streaming. I wasn't in the call or anything, but I saw that and I had to jump into the call just to know. And things got wild.
So I disconnected from I had to disconnect from Discord for a little bit. And like I was like, oh, Discord's not working. I really want to join the boys on this stream. Which actually, you know what? It was not just boys. There were girls there too. We had our female members of our Discord server.
She was the most She pushed Bradley the most to have sex. So
yeah, like we moved it to the other channel, and she couldn't watch the video output. So she's like, no, move back to the other channel so I can watch it.
Anyways. I come in and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are such horny fucks. But also, though, the gameplay was kind of fun. And,
oh, yeah.
And I was like, Bradley, you need to... I see UI slots to equip items. You gotta equip them.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't have beat the game if Willer wasn't there.
The mechanics that they had, that the girls, like, it was their counter mechanics and, like, their little gimmicks, kind of fun.
Yeah, cool. Like one of these skills that one of the characters would use is she would spawn these little scorpion balls, and every turn that they're there, she has 5% increased attack for each scorpion, and then after 3 or 4 turns, they like detonate, dealing attack damage to you. Yeah, some of these skills were really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I was like really determined to get good at the game so I could sleep with these girls.
Of course.
So here's the other thing. For about the first half of the game, I was skipping through most of the dialogue just because I didn't care and I just wanted to see the hot girls.
Oh.
Eventually, I actually read through the dialogue and we realized that's actually the best part of the game.
It's a Chinese game that's poorly translated, and also the story is super dumb. So the dialogue was hilarious.
I'm going to do 1 or 2 line readings of some choice dialogue from this game. The part of the main character will be played by me, and the part of the girl will also be played by me.
Great.
For the girl, picture Meg from Hercules, but with way bigger boobs. Okay.
Did it.
Mia, what the hell with that posture? And why my body is so hot? I forgot it. This plate has a room. It was used by beastmen nobles for consummation. This room has a special magic, and man and woman will have sex. Haha. It was originally used for forced marriages. Please do everything you want. I'm going crazy. Seriously? All right. I want to punish you for this. And then there's one more I'm gonna do.
Do it.
Ha ha, not enough. I want more. Ah, I will lose my virility right here. No problem. I will do anal sex. Don't worry. Anal? But I really want? It's okay. Anal is fine. I really want to try something new. Ha ha. Ha ha. And I can't hold it anymore. So all the dialogue in the game is kind of hilarious. So all of us have worked in the games industry in some capacity at some point. It's made me want to make a hentai puzzle game. So
I will join. I would join forces on that.
because I don't know, puzzle games are really fun.
I'd want to make a dating sim puzzle game because then it can be a little wholesome and we can get it on the Switch. But you know.
Which reminds me, we haven't talked about Puzzles and Dragons Gold, have we?
No, we haven't. But you know, actually, we don't want to soil that game with this. Let's
You're
talk
right.
about Honey Pop real quick.
Hey, yeah, you know what?
Joe just
It's related.
Tyler
It's related.
shakes his head and he just watched Bradley play through an entire actual hentai game.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, all right. Since I won't let Bradley go under the bus alone, I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw me and Joe as well. Sorry, Joe, you don't have a
I
choice.
don't think I'm not throwing. I'm diving.
We shall
I don't know
go
what you're talking
together.
about.
Honey Pop is a really fun game, and the Honey Pop reminded me of this game, where Honey Pop is a puzzle game. It's a dating sim with hentai in it, so there's that. But
Yeah.
what Honey Pop has for it is it's a match 3 puzzle game with really good mechanics. You have to match certain colors because they are more affinity for the girls, and then you also have to use 6 items that you can bring into battle to strategically make matches. It's just really fun to play. But then also, the girls are also well voiced and written. Like, they're all trashy in like
That's
a
the
believable
thing.
way.
I think the reason the game caught my attention and the reason I bought it is I was really surprised by the voice acting. I didn't realize how most video game characters sound like video game characters until I played this, because a lot of them sound like real people. Like, they talk.
And the dialogue is good. Like, it's very like ridiculous, but in a realistic way, where just these things are ridiculous sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But then also you have a fairy who is trying to get you laid.
Yeah.
It's a good time that I bought for Tyler, and he refuses to play, and we're all very excited for Honey Pop 2.
God. And yeah, like the thing about Honey Pop as well is like it's just a good game, and like it's a match. Fucking Will already said it, but it's just a good game, and it's just really fun to play. Like there comes to a point where like you start the game like, hey, horny bitches, and by the end of it, you're getting like there's a moment whenever you finally like unlock the night dates and you beat the night date, you have to like do one last puzzle and you have to like basically chain a bunch of puzzles together.
You don't have turns anymore. You have to match quick.
Yeah, to match quickly, and like while you're doing this, the girls are making very explicit noises. So
this
like,
game is less dirty than Hentai Osmodius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like Joe was saying,
But,
like you come into the game like sex, and then you have to like actually do puzzling, because like, you know, in Asmodeus, I was having to theory craft my build out. Like I'd be like, oh, I gotta ball gag the voodoo, and then I gotta break a green. You know?
Ball gag being a
But, like,
delayer.
it's great because like at the beginning of the game, you're like, oh man, yeah, girl, be horny. And by the end of it, you're just like, shut the fuck up and let me finish this so I can get the next girl. Jesus
All right.
Christ.
I'm not like that. No,
I am.
I
At
like
that
all the
end
girls.
section, it's so obnoxious.
I give special attention to each anime computer girl that I'm having sex with.
Even Audrey, who sucks very badly. Another thing is, like, as you're asking girls in Honey Pop, you have like this chart of things that you can find out about them, and eventually they'll start quizzing you on stuff they told you before. So it's like, so what do I do for work, or what's my favorite season, or how big are my boobs? And you gotta know that, or else you will lose, or else you won't get points with them. So that's cute. That's a cute.
There's also a skill tree and everything.
It's good.
Like
it's good.
it's very good. Honey
Played a
Pop
lot
2
of
is good.
games. I've played a lot of games like that on Newgrounds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You should play
All I'm
this.
saying though, yeah, it's real good. It's real funny. It's a great if you know you and your lady are spending the night in and you need something to I don't know, get things started, Honey Pop's the way to go.
Honey Pop is very fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the final Roundabout cast. Thank you so much for joining us so far. I can't believe we got close to 100 subs before we destroyed our channel.
Watch us like get like a lot of subs after this.
No.
People, no. Here's the funny thing, is that Hentai Asmodeus, we were like looking at the page for it, and at any given time there was like 100 people playing it. And here's the thing, I beat the game. I experienced all of the content the game has to offer in less than 2 hours. The guy who reviewed the game, he had over 200 hours.
What can he say? He loves Zuma.
I guess so.
All right, we're done here. Tyler, tell us about the anime Promised Neverland. It's 50% more wholesome.
How far did the anime? Is that 1 season or 2 seasons?
The anime is currently 1 season, and it finishes the orphanage arc.
Okay.
So it is a Thursday afternoon. I sit down to have some lunch, and I'm trying to get into like a better routine where I don't eat at my desk. And so I'm like, all right, I'll just watch like a little video or something on my phone while I sit down to eat. And I'm like, you know what? I watched a video the other day about anime that's coming out in 2020. They say Promised Neverland's coming out with like a new season. And I'm like, you know what? I'll watch it. I'll watch my first episode. You know,
Flashback to months ago where I'm like, hey, Tyler, the anime for Promised Neverland's coming out. You should watch it. But, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, I'll watch it. I get like 15 minutes into this episode. I'm done eating, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go finish this.
And he does. The mad lad does it.
4.5 hours later, I've watched the entire first season.
Hey. You love to see it.
I enjoyed it. It had good animation. I liked.
I thought I was gonna say I really didn't like it.
No, I liked it. I don't have much more to say than I enjoyed it. I really kind of wish it would have been darker. I was expecting some more like. So I don't know if I'm numb to horror genres now because I've just experienced it so much, or like I really wanted something more twisted to happen.
More baby killing.
There was, yeah, I thought there was going to be more baby killing, to be honest.
There's more baby killing later.
Oh,
okay.
Believe me.
But the show was a really good. It felt like I was watching Clue happen. Like very just mystery, like centered around this house, and there's this just looming presence, like constantly existing, and. It was a fun ride. I think the first
rate
season
of reviews is really good. Like yeah.
The pacing's very good. The animation's nice. The music's fun. And dude, like my favorite moments is like the climax of each episode isn't at the end. Animes usually end with cliffhangers because it's like, oh, we want you to wait till next week to watch that episode. No, all their cliffhangers are like midway through the episode. They're not even cliffhangers. That doesn't make sense. All these climactic points happen like midway through the episodes, and I'm like, oh man, like, is this almost over? And it's like, nah, you got 10 more minutes, son. I'm like, what?
That's also because they're adapting at like 2 chapters per episode, so you're hitting an end of a chapter in the middle of the episode.
Yeah, that makes sense, because it's like, oh god, this just happened? I really like the dark twist at the end of the first arc. I really appreciated that little...
Which one was it again?
It has to do with the song that Mom hums in the very first episode.
Mom is a great antagonist.
She's scary as fuck.
I really like the duality of the moms and sisters.
Sister Crone is great.
Oh man,
Bradley,
was that character
Bradley
mega
also
creepy.
read this, but Bradley didn't really like it. I said it was like Death Note, and I shot it in the foot.
Yeah,
it is like Death Note in ways. I watched it till about, or no, I didn't watch it. I read it till about chapter 30. I will say I love the way this manga is drawn. I think you got some really cool character designs. It's a pretty neat premise. I think I don't know. I just don't know if it was like the main characters didn't click for me for some reason. Not that I don't think they're well written, but I don't know.
I remember you
Maybe
saying that like the mysteries or like the mind games felt too advanced for you. I remember you saying something to
yeah, I'm
that.
too low IQ. No,
No, no,
I think
not
like
that.
here's the thing. Like comparing this to Death Note, they're both like mind games, the manga. I think like if Death Note, you have a lot of people who are very, very smart and do some very intricate plans in there. And if Death Note was even a little bit more complicated, some of those plans I would be like, okay, this is bullshit. It's like as crazy as it can get where I'm still like, okay, maybe someone could do that. I think Promised Neverland was like maybe one step over that line, while Death Note was like one step under. Because some of the mind games in Promised Neverland are like, holy fuck.
See, for me, I never understood that because I could always follow the logic and how they got there.
Oh yeah,
It
like
just worked for me, but I guess it didn't work. Tyler,
like
where do you fall?
I mean, I could follow the logic, but I was like, I just don't buy that they would be able to come up with that.
I think it's a weird universe that these kids exist in. Mm,
I mean, they're forced to be
like
brilliant.
like other than the mystery part of the universe, like that's really dumb to say. I don't like it's a weird universe, but like I think the intelligence of these kids is interesting, and I don't know, like like I watched it so quickly, it's hard for me to put it all into words. Um, I don't know. I didn't hate it, and these kids, they're great. I think they have a little nice chemistry together. Some of the twists, I'm like, yeah, that like okay, like some of the twists caught me off guard a good bit. The support characters don't get a lot of attention in this anime first arc.
Gon
Um,
and Gilda, to this day, honestly, are the big support characters.
yeah, and I don't hate them either. I guess like I did the Maze Runner series before this,
Ooh.
and it feels very Maze Runner, and I don't want it to be Maze Runner.
I only read the first Maze Runner.
I think you should watch season 2
I'm probably gonna read it more.
or read it. Yeah. It becomes a very different series. So a little bit of a spoiler alert for if anyone wants to go into season 2 completely blind. This series becomes a survival strategy battle manga from this point on because uh, it's the kids are not as safe as they were in season 1 for obvious reasons. If you watched it, you know that
Yeah.
at this point on they're not going to be as safe, and because of that, combat needs to start occurring, but it doesn't lose its sense of outwitting really smart opponents because all the opponents are really smart.
Yeah.
That being said, there's a really good arc that I think is almost as good, if not better, than the first arc. I'm almost up to date with it. I kind of fell off a little bit near. We're in the final arc now, so that's another positive. It's a story that had a very clear outline, and it's not going to go on for too long. I'm not sure about this current arc and its villain. Who was y'all's favorite character in the first arc?
I mean, I think I did like the main girl.
Emma?
Yeah.
I really liked Norman.
Yeah, Norman was my favorite. There were some moments where I was like, holy shit, Norman, you're so clutch.
This is a
Ray's-
very high quality series. I think I think if the main characters or like the dynamic between the kids click for you, you'll probably really, really like it.
I'm really excited. Like my favorite thing about the last episode of the first season is I'm very excited to see the evolution of Ray.
yeah.
I hope we get more
Ray
insight
Skywalker?
into Ray and like his being, and like I just hope that, you know me, I hate character development. I hope this character gets some development.
Ray has some moments, and then Ray has some moments of like, why hasn't Ray had a moment in a while?
Yeah, that's why I hate character development because it always lets me down.
Well, people don't develop every arc or every
It always lets me down.
Well, it's fine. Anyways, that's Promised Neverland. Good quick
Very
talk.
quick talks.
Oh, and that's the Roundabout cast. How do we want to close it today, gang?
Everyone, tell us your favorite character from Hentai Asmodeus.
There's only
yeah.
5.
It's only $2 on Steam.
No, don't advocate for that.
Do we have a closing discussion or question? Or
If we can get 10 likes on this video, Tyler has to play Honey Pop.
Okay.
Okay.
Have we gotten any videos with 10?
No, we don't get that many likes.
We get like 3.
If we get 10 likes on this
we
video,
get at most 7. Like,
Super smash that dislike
no,
button.
Tyler needs to play it regardless. Don't do that.
hold on. What's our most? Let's see what our most liked video is.
Well,
Like,
you gotta go for the full well.
Willer's upset now.
Our full episodes are like at most 8.
Sort by most popular.
Ugh.
Okay, let's go with our oh man, oh god, where our full segments are way down there, boys.
Oh, really?
They're less popular than some.
Episode 25 apparently is one of our most popular.
Oh, damn.
What was the title of that one?
My name is Josuke.
Oh, Joe, good times we had.
I'm sad our New Year's podcast didn't get more.
Yeah, what the
everyone
fuck,
was out.
everybody?
Oh, was that the game one?
Yeah, that was a good one. If you haven't listened to the New Year's cast, that's a fun episode. So it looks
One
like
of the best.
we got 7, 8, 5.
No one's even gonna make it to this point of the
6.
video. They're just gonna jump to Worm. Like,
Yeah, I guess once we stop talking about the other stuff.
Luffy Vor's Crocodile. How many likes we got? We got 6. So if we can get 8 likes, I'll do it.
All right.
Okay. We need to put this in the comments and in the description.
No, they have to listen.
No, they won't.
No.
They don't make it. I look
guys-
at our statistics. They don't make it this far.
You're going to sit and listen to us talk about Midsummer and Victorious and Promise Neverland. And you're going to
They're
like
already gone. They already finished Worm.
it.
They
No one's
already.
ever going to hear this audio that we're doing right now.
God.
Good night, everybody.